All right, what's up? Just coming fresh off of watching the Devil May Cry Netflix series. And I told y'all already that I'm a big Devil May Cry fan. Love the series, love Dante, Virgil, so on and so forth. And when I first heard of this show coming on Netflix, I was excited. I was a little bit like, Netflix, like they already messed up my Tomb Raider show, and Netflix has had good shows, like good shows and bad ones. I've had mixed feelings going both ways, but for the most part, I was excited to see what they do with Devil May Cry, as long as they put respect on Dante and the whole series' name. Now, to answer the question, was it good? Was it worth the excitement? Did it live up to my excitement? Yes and no. Obviously, this is season 1. I will say it was good enough for me to be excited for season 2. And first and foremost, the best part was the fight scenes, was the action scenes. The action scenes were top tier. The directing, the choreography of Dante, not just Dante, but other characters, the action, they didn't cut no corners. And I'm not even just talking about with the choreography, I'm talking about even the deaths. Like, that is one thing about this show. This is mature rated. They don't cut corners with the violence. Like, if you see someone getting sliced, they showing all of it. So it is pretty graphic, but it's Devil May Cry, so it's not like it's a bad thing. You expect that. But I was just saying, the fight scenes are awesome, but the violence is also like raw. This is raw action for anime, I should say. But yeah, choreography was done very well. The animation, I just pointed that out, in detail, action or not, looked top tier. Beautiful score. Like, this score worked perfectly for this show. For not just the intro, but just in general. When it came to action scenes or even heartfelt scenes, which this show did have. Quiet moments. They had this female vocalist that worked perfectly with certain scenes. And had probably one of the most creative, how should I put it without spoiling? One of the most creative storytelling episodes that I haven't seen in a while. There's an episode 6 was done beautifully. Beautiful art direction showing the different scenario, like the different situations of these certain characters in episode 6. It was done beautifully with beautiful music background, heartfelt story. They did a lot with this show. It's more than just an action fest, and which, by the way, was one of the top things I wanted to see in this show. But they delivered in that. But when it came to storytelling and heartfelt moments, they did that well too, especially with episode 6. Episode 6, I don't know who directed that one, but he or she need to get a raise for that. It reminded me of that episode in Invincible where they did something like I don't want to say much about it because it could spoil it, but yes, done very well. Now, the bad about it, and it's something I hate to say, but y'all notice I didn't really talk about Dante much. Now, his action scenes, when he's on screen, for the most part, he's done well. The part I don't like about Dante is his availability for the show. This is Devil May Cry, and the commercials show Dante. Am I right? There is another good thing. I'll get back to that in a minute, but I want to touch on Dante. Dante was disrespected in this show in a couple of ways. One, his availability in the show. Like, he felt very like this. Whoever created this show wanted you to know that he was a side character, because my goodness, was he a side character? There was some episodes he barely was in it. It was like, where's Dante at? There was more focused on Lady Mary, whatever you want to call her, who was also in the game, Devil May Cry 3. And that's another bad thing I want to bring up. This was Mary's show. This was my biggest flaw with the show, was they focused so much on her. Yes, there's a heartfelt story with her and with the villain, which is the good part. I'll get to that later. But Mary herself, the character, one, they made her too tough. And what I mean by that is not with action. I'm talking about her attitude. Like, she came across as very annoying and cringy with her attitude. All like she just it was like the show wanted you to know that she's tough. And it's like you sit there, you be like, okay, I understand you're tough. And then she's like, Greg's like, no, I want you to know I'm tough. I'm tough. I'm tough. It's like, okay, calm down. That's how the show made it seem like from the beginning when she first showed up to now. I mean, to the end. It was like, would you relax? It was like when she curses, she got to let you know she's, even her like cursing moments were cringy because she had a lot of those. Like, she has a mouth of a sailor in this show, which whatever. But it was delivered as, those people that cuss and you can tell they don't cuss, they just trying to do it to sound cool. That's what she looked like. She was forcing it to let you know that I'm what's up. This is my show. I'm the baddest bee up in this show and all this other. It was like, okay, calm down. Calm down. But she was like that the whole season, and it was very annoying. That was very annoying. It was hard to watch with her. She had, like I said, she had some good action moments and a good backstory, but my goodness. And that's another thing with Dante and her that I have a problem with. They nerfed Dante a lot in this show. Do not expect Dante from the game you play. Because, yes, he had moments where it was like an up and down. That's what also weird. It was moments where he seemed like the Dante we know from the game. And then it seemed like he was Dante. Like, who is this guy? Getting outsmarted by Lady multiple times. They treated Dante like he was stupid. Like he just did not learn. Him fighting other villains. It was like, why are you losing to this guy? Granted, he wasn't the like Dante from Devil May Cry 5. He was a younger version, but he was still in the game. Like he knew for the most part, what was going on. But he just seemed, they made him first a side character and two, very nerfed, and three, dumb in some moments. Whereas it seemed like whoever made this show wanted you to love Mary over Dante. Watch Mary. We'll make Dante look, and I didn't like that. That was throughout the whole, outside the beginning of the season, it was like that from then on. Dante was nerfed, had great moments. Don't get me wrong. Dante, especially, his action scenes was very well choreographed. But I'm talking about it was a lot of moments, especially if Mary was on the scene. If Dante and Mary was on the scene, or Lady, whatever you want to call her, the show wanted you to know that Dante was dumb, weaker than her, all that, and I just didn't like that. I was like, come on, this is his show. Like, give him this spotlight. They gave her, oh my god, I wish I timed how much she was in this show, like time, because oh my goodness, bro, they overdid her screen time. I hope, and like I said earlier, I hope that they do a season 2. But hopefully Netflix learned, give Dante his space. Give Dante his, make Dante, like, I ain't gonna say he overpowered, but give him, like, he should not be getting beat in some of these moments. And he was getting beat in times I was like, he wouldn't lose like that. He wouldn't be captured like that. He got captured again. It was like those kind of moments. So I did not like that. Yeah, and like I said, you could tell whoever created this had an agenda with Mary. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, this show's not going to be for you. Because she is in it a lot. It's Devil May Cry. It should be Mary May Cry or something like, I don't know, because Dante should not be. This is how bad it was. Dante should not be on the cover. They used him for advertisement. Was the action scenes good? Yes, and all, but man, as a Dante fan, I was disappointed of how little he was in it. Now, let me move on from that. Story-wise, it was good. I'm going to go back to the good part about this show was the villain. I love the White Rabbit story in here. Like I said, episode 6 really breaks down the moments with the villain and also another character. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. But as a villain, the White Rabbit, you felt for him, but also he played a good bad guy. It was like one of those moments where, you remember the Killing Joke? I don't know if y'all know what that is. It's a comic of the Joker. and it was talking about like the one bad day. That's what it felt like with the White Rabbit, and they did it well. So I did like that. The villain, to be real, the villain stole the show in the good part. Like the showrunners wanted you to know that they wanted Mary to steal the show because they put her in so much. But when I'm talking about presence and situational character development, all that stuff, it was done well with the White Rabbit more than anybody else. To be real, it's crazy. This did not feel like a Dante show. You know what I'm saying? And yes, Dante has had other characters in his games. You know, Nero was in Devil May Cry 5 as the main character. But when that happened, Nero was advertised more in Devil May Cry 5. The show made it seem like Dante was in this a lot. And it was Dante and the White Rabbit. And no. So Dante had his good moments, but he was more disappointing than anything. His timing, his him being nerfed, and him being so dumb around Mary. But yeah, back to the White Rabbit. He was done well. I thought he was a really good villain. Really good villain. And so overall, the show was good. Like I will say, let me put it to you this way. Let me look at it from a person who doesn't know Devil May Cry. If I was fresh to this show, did not know what Devil May Cry was about, I would still be entertained just for that alone and the story of the villain. Those two moments, the action, the animation, and the story of the villain would capture me enough for these 8 episodes, which by the way, it is 8 episodes, only 30 minutes long. This show is not long, so total 4 hours, not bad. I think that was a smart idea instead of having a whole hour. So yes, I would still believe it's entertaining. If I had to give this show a rating, I would give it a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. I was very bummed out with how they treated Dante. I'm a huge Dante fan, and the amount of screen time they gave him was very disappointing. And then to give it to a character that was annoying. It's just my opinion. Mary was annoying, bro. Did she have some good moments? Yes. You know, but those moments was best when she didn't talk. When she just was doing her action scenes, those were cool. But every time she talked, it's like she had to prove something to us viewers that she's this, you know, I run this, I know what I'm doing. F y'all, F y'all, F. It was like, okay, can you calm down? It's like, dang. Like, I don't know. It seemed like the creators of this show had some type of agenda with her. I'm not going to touch more into that. I'm just going to say that she was annoying. Yeah, I mean, great act. I will say the beginning of the show opened up very well with the villain showing how good he is, and Dante. Dante had some great choreography in that beginning of the season. And there was a showing of one of my favorite characters, the Devil May Cry. I thought that was good. There is a cliffhanger in this season. I hope, regardless of the things I did not like, I still hope there's a season 2, because I'm someone that believes they can do better. Not just, cancel this show. No, there was enough good moments in this show to where that I'm looking forward to a season 2. If they do it, I don't know. We'll find out. And especially after they showed a certain character at the end, I was like, I was excited. I gotta be excited. But please, Netflix, next season, have less of Mary. Have less of Mary. Let me get more Dante. Let me get more powerful Dante. And that's another thing. I didn't like either, was the weaponry of Dante was barely used. You know how in the video game he could use this weapon and this weapon. Ebony and Ivory was barely used. Barely. And all these different weapons that, in the game that Dante had. No, he uses the same sword. He's a one sword. There was one moment for like 10 seconds he used as a different weapon. That was it. Ebony and Ivory was used very little. I will say that as a person as a Devil May Cry fan, there were some moments that I was disappointed. But if you do not know this and just looking for a good time, there's a nice amount of moments here to have a good time. So I'm a mixed bag with it overall, just to say that. And so I'll give it a 6.5 out of 7. The animation and the action alone makes it higher like that to up to a 6.5. If the animation and the action was not good, then this would probably be like a 4. Those action scenes were top tier, really good. There was a scene with the airplane. I thought the camera work on it, and episode 6 was the best episode. It separated itself from every episode in that season. You have to. I ain't gonna spoil nothing. You have to see that for yourself. But yes, here's hoping that they do another season. But I have to be honest, there are bad stuff in it as well. As a Dante/Devil May Cry fan, I like Mary like in the game and stuff like that, but the way they did her, like I just did not like how they did her in this show. And this should have been her show. In the trailers of Devil May Cry, they should have advertised her, but they're not going to do that because a lot of people ain't going to watch. So they got to use Dante, but that's what it seemed like. Dante was used as a prop. Hey, come watch my show, Dante. Then you watch it, and he's barely in there. I'm not joking. You got to watch the show. There's sometimes he's in it for like maybe 5-10 minutes, like 5 minutes tops, and Mary's in it for the rest. It was like, then they treated Dante like he was dumb. Something. It was like, bro, what is this? But my wife was watching it, and she doesn't know anything about Devil May Cry. And she found it entertaining enough. So that's why it's a mixed bag on it. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. If you agree, disagree, that's cool. Everybody has their opinion, but I would like to know what's yours. And maybe I missed something. Yeah. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see you later.